Thanks for joining us on another episode of Is There More, the podcast. My name is Megan, and I'm listening. Today's guest is a super talented and hardworking 25-year-old filmmaker who makes short conceptual work about her life and the way the world works. Because she grew up struggling with extreme social anxiety, her greatest accomplishment is a recent short film contest/networking event she threw for an organization she founded called Salt Lake Film Club. There is more, but I'll let her tell you the rest. Welcome, Zoe Kismet.
I have a crazy synchronicity story about the Anna Moya one.
Okay, let's watch it.
Oh my god, and it's at 3:22. That's crazy.
That is
freaking
crazy.
number.
And this one's at 2:32.
Oh my god. I'll tell the story after. I've been having weird dreams lately. People I've never met. Places I've never been. At least not that I can remember. They say the past, present, and future exist at the same time. It almost feels like timelines are blending together. I think dreams are portals to the unseen worlds. The other realities that exist all around us. Different choices that lead to the same ending. We're always shifting, going through cycles. Old versions of ourselves are dying and new ones are being born. I haven't felt normal for a long time. Something pulled me here. I don't exactly know what it was. So I was seeing the numbers 28 and 32 like so much. And I got this automated text to like go to this film festival, and I looked at the address and it was 3.2 miles away, and the zip code had like 28 at the end of it. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's a sign." I'm that can I swear?
Yeah.
Can I swear? Okay. Yeah. I'm that bitch. I'm the sign. So I was like, I should go. And I didn't have a car at the time. So I got ready, and I have a bad sense of time. So I was late. I was getting ready, and I go to the train station, and then I'm like on the train, and then I get off like one stop early, and the next train coming was 19 minutes away, and I was like, oh, I can't make it. I have to walk. So I walk, and it happens to be 19-minute walk. Of course.
Yeah.
It's like, and I get to the theater, and I was like so close to not going in because I was like, they're not gonna let me in. I've never been to a film festival, so I didn't know like how it worked.
Oh, cool.
So I go in, they let me in, and then I go to the bathroom because I'm like, I'm already late. Let me just like freshen up. Anyway, I go sit in the theater, and I like the movie. Like I'm at this point, I'm like 45 minutes late. Like there's no way. Like there's no way. I sit down, and the movie starts.
Oh, whoa.
Right when I sit down.
They had technical difficulties just for you.
That's right. I sit down and the movie starts. And the quote I remember is, it said, like fades onto the screen. It was like, you will delay, but time will not. And I was like, crazy. And the movie was called The Shifting. And I watched the movie, and like, I was like, you know what? I can do this. Like I said this earlier, but like I was putting it on a pedestal, like, yeah, this whole like, oh, that's for later. Like I can't do that. And there was a film festival coming up on the 14th of that month, and I was like, it was the 4th, and there was a film festival on the 14th, and I was like, let me make something. Let me just make something, because why not? So I went to Disneyland like the next day with my brother because he was in town, and we went to Disneyland, and he was 32 and his girlfriend was 28.
Hold on, you gotta tell. Let's say what these numbers are, because I actually don't know what about 28.
I don't know. Should I look it up? I don't know. I just kept seeing it, and I was
Oh, okay, so you didn't like
I
you
looked
didn't
up
even look it up.
32. I looked up 32 at the time, and it was fulfillment of God's promises.
Ooh.
Yeah, we go to Disneyland. I see so many crows. Like they're like flocks of crows. And we are at so Disneyland closed for like senior night or something. So we go to California Adventure, and like the World of Color. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
No. So there
Good
was the World of Color at California Adventure, and like we missed the first one, and I was like, oh, like I thought there was only one, so I was like kind of bummed out because it's really cool. It's like this show with like water and like cool lights and stuff.
Yeah.
And the second show we finally got to see, or we were walking out and it just started, and I was like, oh my gosh. And the theme of it was like, it just takes one. Like that was the theme. It
Wow.
just takes one, and like
Dude.
it had like the movie Pocahontas.
I'm like getting chills.
It had the movie Pocahontas playing, and it was like, I don't know if you've seen Pocahontas.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you
But
I'd be
so
like,
good.
yeah.
So good. But the grandmother Willow, she like, with her little tree branch, she like touches the ripple, like the water, and she's like, look at the ripples and see how it grows. I'm
Yes,
getting chills now too.
I remember this. Oh, I forgot that, but it's so
I
good.
know. And then like she goes, there's spirits all around you that guide you. That's what she says. And
Yeah.
I was like, God is talking to me directly. I don't care.
Yes.
So I go back home and I start filming stuff to like try to stitch together this movie. And oh my God, there was just so many weird, like I was walking like as I did back then, and I looked to my right and there's like this pamphlet. I think I might have it in here somewhere.
Oh, that's
So I
cool.
kept it. Um and it's like a pamphlet, and it's like of the book of John,
Mm,
like from the Bible,
yeah.
and it's bookmarked on to like 1 or 13:7 John. It's like Jesus replied, you may not know what I'm doing now, but later you will. So like basically like you don't know what's happening now, but later it'll make sense.
Dude,
I know. I
wow.
know.
It was
So,
everything was telling you like keep going.
yeah, keep going. Keep going. It doesn't make sense. Keep going.
And this was your first film?
Yeah, it was like my first short film that I submitted to a festival.
Okay, so your first like real try
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And
The
when
first where I'm like,
was
I'm
this?
not gonna limit myself. Like, let me try. Let me try it. If you listen to the voiceover, it's like I don't like something pulled me here. I don't know
Yes.
exactly what, but something pulled me here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that came from. It just felt like something is telling me to do this. And so I filmed the whole project, and I'm stitching it together. I'm editing like it's like the 13th. So I have to submit it by the 14th. And I'm editing it. I do the voiceover. Right?
I'm like, wow, one day. Your voice is amazing, by the way. So
Oh my gosh,
imagine doing
that's like my biggest insecurity with that.
no way.
Yeah.
Your voice is amazing. It even sounds like commercial too and everything. It sounds like
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
no, don't be insecure about that. That's
Thank
great.
you. That means a lot to me.
Oh,
Um So right when I finished the voiceover, bro, I thought gunshots went outside of my house. It was like, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I see like these big flashes, like, and I look out the window, and there's like fireworks, like, like 100 fireworks.
I can't with you.
I have a video of it. It's on my Instagram, I think, still.
Not only fireworks, but they waited till your
Yes.
voiceover.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's
here's the timing of
crazy.
that.
That's crazy
The
for me.
timing of that is crazy.
Wow. Wow.
Like, if the message I got from all of this is just like, you're on God's timing, or like you're on time. Don't worry about the world's timing. Because I feel like a lot, like I used to get stuck on like I need to do this by this age. I need to do this by this age, and like, and I'm sure everybody like feels that way
Yeah.
at a certain extent. And yeah, just like, wow, everything happens on time. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think too, when you start, because I love that you said at the beginning of all this, like, you're not good with time.
Right.
Seriously, because when you stop being like, I need to do this by this, right? Is
Yeah.
when you actually drop into the moment, which is the
Mm-hmm.
creative, the only way you can create
Yeah.
really is being
Yes.
present.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, yeah, when people are bad with time, I don't mind at all because I'm like, that just means you're flowing. Do you write your voiceovers? Because you do this in multiple films. So do you kind of, are you
Yeah.
walking when it comes to you?
Yeah. So I think like, yeah, it definitely like comes to me, and then I'll write it down, and
Okay.
then I'll kind of like make it fit together and make it make sense and stuff. I'm really into like quantum physics and like just weird science stuff, and I feel like that's where part of that came from.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, the shifting.
What got you into quantum physics?
I kind of think we're in a simulation, but like not in a computer simulation. I don't know, it's like a natural simulation.
You have this really cool like format. Like you make films that are like a minute and a half. Is that on purpose or is that what
Like,
is that? Because honestly, like I love it. And
you
it's
love
cool.
it.
It's on social, right? It's on YouTube. You can anyone everyone is gonna spend a minute and a half watching a film and you tell a whole story. So like how did you come up with that idea or is it just like something you do?
I think it's just a way to explore a, a lot of different concepts that I have. And since I don't have like a team, and I want to do as much as possible, I think that's why they're like micro films,
Mhm.
mini films. I like it because like I don't like spending a ton. I don't want to commit to something that I don't really like want to explore for like 5 to 10 minutes or whatever. So I definitely want to like make larger projects and films eventually. Like that's the goal for sure.
Do you work with a lot of the filmmakers in Salt Lake Film Club or like do you prefer making stuff on your own because you have full control or how's that?
I need to get better at like releasing control. I think like and communicating my vision. I need to get better at that. It's just hard to trust people, and yeah,
Yeah.
I want to make films with crews though. I do want to do that.
I really want to watch Letting Go. Did you film this by yourself? Dude, what? How? I'm like a fan, super fan, because to me, you're like,
Stop.
seriously, to me, you're like the most epic influencer filmmaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you're not a content creator, you're clearly a real filmmaker, but you like do stuff influencer style. Like, I'm gonna film myself on this whole
Yeah.
thing.
Let's watch it. You never can guess how you'll feel when you realize you're doing something for the last time. It was the last time I'd be in this part of my life. I was lost, the most uncomfortable I'd ever been. Pause here. And when it gets like that,
Is that the Bible?
no, so What? Like, this is crazy. Okay, so I'm like, this is like basically my last day in LA, and I'm like, I'm gonna go film something. I need to. So like that's where like you never can guess how you feel when you're doing something. That's like where that came from. And I'm walking, I'm setting my camera, and there's this pile of books. Okay,
Of course.
you can't make it up. Like you can't make it up.
The
This book is flipped to look at what it says.
end of the journey.
You
Yeah, I did have that
cannot make
question
it up.
when I did have that question when watching this. I was like, this looks really organic. What a great art department person.
Art department is God, and
God is my art department.
God is my art department. So
That's
yeah,
wow. Holy crap.
yeah, I know, insane.
Okay.
I don't even know.
That's crazy.
There's another synchronicity too.
Okay.
But yeah, you can continue.
Let's see.
It feels like this will last forever. But it doesn't. I couldn't see much past that. I had to let go of what I thought my life should look like, surrender to it, and trust. I was gonna miss this part in some ways. It felt like nothing and everything was happening, and all the little things mattered so much more. A smile from a stranger, a bird in the trees, the light reflecting on the water. I could see everything so clearly now, in a way that I couldn't before. I kept thinking, when I had more figured out, I would be grateful for the times that I didn't. It was times like these when I had nothing. So I started Salt Lake Film Club with another guy I met. And he was living in LA the same time I was. And this is right outside his house. This is where his house was.
Did you know that?
No. That I could really learn who I was. With all the uncertainty, there was only one thing that I really knew. A new life was calling me.
Okay, so you've had this journey with filmmaking where it's very clear that you're supposed to be on the path of making movies. In every picture you've made, it's something is like telling you, or at least these first two, something's telling you like, hey, this is it. I mean, first of all, I can imagine like getting kicked out of your apartment in LA was like really hard. Obviously, you have some sense of trust because you're seeing all these signs, but was there like a amount of time it took for you to fully be like, I mean, you said it's still every day kind of, you're still seeing the signs and you're still like, okay, I'm on the right path, I'm on the right path. Like,
Yeah.
you still kind of need or crave that confirmation. And maybe that's a good thing though, because you're just checking in, like making sure you're still aligned kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when it comes to that kind of stuff, there's ever like this end or this place we get to that's like, okay, I know it's not I've arrived, but I know I'm on the right path and I'm secure in that? Or do you think it's always like,
I think it's like a continuous walking into the unknown. There's always another unknown that you have to cross through. Yeah, like it's like doing shadow work. Making art is like doing shadow work over and over, and you're like constantly pushing yourself, pushing the you're more capable of doing than you think you are. Wait, let me say that again. You're more capable than you think. And you're just constantly pushing your boundaries, and like it's been really vulnerable to put myself out there. Like even like just watching them with you, I'm like a little bit, oh, putting myself out there is like hurts a little bit sometimes. But yeah, the journey is the point, I think, and I don't think you ever get to an end of that.
Yeah, I
It's
think if
just
you're
it's a masterpiece that is continuously being painted.
especially if you're doing it right, then you're always
Right.
pushing yourself and
Yeah.
um, keeping to. I love that you said though, you're capable of more than you think because it makes me feel like each project you do, you're kind of proving to yourself that,
Yeah.
right? So that's cool.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let me see what I'm capable of now.
Yeah. Let's
Let's
see.
see,
Let's
yeah.
just see what happens next.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're uncomfortable, you say things that mean something.
Hmm.
Like if
That's
you don't feel a little bit uncomfortable with your art, I don't think you're really pushing yourself in a good way.
when
That
you're,
make does that make sense?
yeah, when you're uncomfortable, you're saying things that mean something. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And that's a really good like meter too. Like, am I comfortable or am I uncomfortable? I try to think right now, like, what would I be uncomfortable to say in this moment? Like, what would make me uncomfortable? And, it's hard to think of, right? At least
Yeah, well, maybe my comfort zone is so small that everything outside of it is just uncomfortable.
trust. Mine also is/was way smaller than it is now. But, no, but I also think that there's something about there was this one quote that my acting teacher told me, and he told me he used to tell me a lot of different things about his life. And at one point he said, I don't, I'm sharing this with you. I don't share this with everyone. I teach
Mhm.
a lot of people, but I don't share it with them. And I was like, whoa. It kind of reminds me of speaking like from the heart rather than the head
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that's what I need to, because I think I can intellectualize a lot and just look at it from almost a higher perspective, pull myself out of it and tell the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
But when it comes to really being in the heart and like sharing, maybe that's a little bit different. So,
Yeah. Like if
yeah.
you're always trying to say the right thing, you're taking a test.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also a good way to think about it.
Yeah. Ugh.
Should we watch another one? No.
Yeah. The
When I'm
Night I
out.
Met God was one of my favorites I made.
This is a 30-second music video. Would you call it that?
Yeah. On my way.
Can't be fun. Why not? Pitch back all around, but I can see you white that. Spirits move my body. Stand beside me. Show me how to dance on me. Show me how to dance on me. Show me how to dance on earth. Gotta be a trick to it. Oh.
I love that. It was based off a dream I had.
Yeah, tell me
Um,
about that because that's a cool experience.
yeah. So in the dream, I was like on set with like it was like a bigger set too. So I felt like kind of like in the future. Like a yeah. I look up and we're like outside and I look up at the stars and the stars like start going like a big like portal type of thing like shoo, 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 shoo. And I was like, "Oh my God." And it like turned into a portal and I'm like, "Am I going to get sucked into that?" And then like I just start going like I get sucked into it. It felt so like we'll talk about dreams
Okay.
in a second. But it just felt like so real. And I get sucked into this portal and I'm like just engulfed in this white light. Like just the whole thing is white. And then I get transported to this like cartoon world. And I'm talking to these beings and they're like talking to me and they're like telling me secrets of the universe. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna remember this when I wake up. And they're like, no, you're not. And then I woke up and I didn't remember what they said to me, but I made that video from that.
Yeah, that's a sick video.
I know. I've had that, but it's cool too because like I had that dream, but I've had that idea to make something like that for a long time, and I can finally
Nice.
execute it.
Yeah.
My skills have finally matched the idea.
Do you
So
want to talk about like the making of that, like what went into it? Because I'm like, how is that lady flying? No.
yeah, I put up a chair, like a stool, in my backyard. Put up one light and film myself. Well, I filmed my like feet. I sat on the stool, filmed my feet like coming up, so it looked like I was floating, which is a great touch. I feel like that is like, oh, she's floating.
Yeah.
Um, and then I laid on the stool and I was like doing the, and then I in After Effects rotoscoped it out,
Oh wow.
keyframed it. Yeah,
Sick. So you're like, you also edit all your stuff too.
yeah.
Yeah, you're a sick editor. I mean,
Thank you.
and shooter. What kind of camera do you like to shoot on?
I have a Sony FX3.
Dope.
Yeah. I honestly like I shoot and edit everything or like I just do it because like I want to make this stuff. I don't actually like doing it.
If the ends justify the means and you don't actually like doing it, then what are you really trying to accomplish?
I just like seeing my ideas become real, I think. I think that's the most rewarding part is like, oh, this was in my head and now it's not. Now it's out in the world, which is the best part.
Does it give you like a sense of accomplishment, or is it more like the emotional release aspect of it?
Yeah, I think it's both. Definitely gives me like a sense of accomplishment, like, oh wow, I did that. And then like it's cool to express myself and share it and like put it out there. Kind of like the ripple effect, like it could like inspire other people to do it and whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
What's your theory on dreams? Do you have dreams?
Dude, questions you got me on tonight. Let me take a sip of my fake whiskey.
Yes.
Um, I have dreams, but I also have dreamless sleep a lot,
Mm.
which annoys me because I love dreams. But I do feel like I'm one of those people who I'm like very emotional, like things affect me. So I do feel like I kind of process my emotions in like when I'm awake, which kind of sucks, to be honest. I just came up with this theory recently. That might be why I don't dream as much as I would like to. But like when I do dream, I mostly have it's almost like what is it called? Lucid dreaming? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I can kind of choose like it's
Ooh.
malleable. I can kind of
Yeah.
choose where I'm going and I can kind of guide stuff and I can't really like make it up. Like I can't say I want to do this, but I can like it's like choose your adventure.
Right.
And
That's cool. I
then
really want to lucid dream. That would be awesome.
yeah, I wonder what I need to research it because I kind of wonder what it is, but it's almost like you're sleeping but not all the way asleep is like what it feels like. It's you can kind of and the other thing I do too is like it's a little bit it's like I'm a little bit more awake than lucid dreaming, and in that case, I have, like, visions. So, like, similar to your light one,
Mhm.
like, I was awake one time, but I was laying in bed, but I was awake,
Yeah.
and, but my eyes were closed, so, like
Mhm.
but I was fully awake, but I just got taken by something, like, it was like my
Oh.
solar plexus, like, opened up, and I got like, I got shot up to, like, I don't know, the universe,
Yeah.
and I saw, it was like a film reel, and it was, like, flashing, like, images of, like, the temple, and then it was like Akashic record looking stuff, like, it was
Whoa.
image, image,
Whoa.
image, and it was, like and then it was kinda similar to yours, like but it wasn't like you won't remember this, it was like it was nobody there. It was not
Right.
anyone, but in
Yeah.
my head, I was like, I have to remember this. I have to remember this. I have to remember this
That's crazy.
or whatever. And then at some point, like, what's the drug where you like, it's like feels like forever, but it's like a minute?
Oh my God.
DMT, I think it
Salvia?
something like that. Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
done it, but it felt something like that. Like it felt forever, and I was like, when is this gonna end? But it probably wasn't that long. I don't know,
Yeah.
because it's not like it was all night or something. And then so at one point it just like it was there, and then at one point it goes and goes back into me, and then I was like,
What?
I was like, what was that? So yeah, so for me, I guess that just meant like the philosophy of like every answer you need is inside of you, or like we have
Mm.
all the information inside of us, or like we can access it if we use our, maybe our full brain or whatever. We have
Yeah.
access to it. We just
Yeah.
have to like almost like let go enough to be able to see it or something like that.
Right. Were you doing a lot of meditations before?
Not really, but
No?
this was at the time where I was like always meditating. Like I was always here and I was fully into Reiki. So I was like in this energetic like thing all the time.
Mm,
So
makes sense.
possibly, yeah. But I
Yeah.
wasn't actively like trying to do anything at that time. I was honestly trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do, but
Yeah, like I think it's cool when you like are about to fall asleep and then you like fall. Have you had that happen? Where you like fall in your like vision like thing,
Evolve.
you like wake
No,
up.
I've never
Or like
had
you
that.
fall and then you wake up.
Hmm.
Dude, dreams are weird because like what are we seeing? Like and then also imagination is weird too because it's like what are we looking at? Because like I my visualization is really good.
Yeah, yours is.
Like I
Seriously.
can
And that's
picture
why, you
things.
know what? That might be why you feel like you have trouble communicating your vision because it's so like clear in your head, but the
Yeah.
only way for you to do it is just to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel
That's what I do. I don't, yeah, I need to get better at communicating just in general.
Yeah, I found I had that problem too because when I started, I used to shoot a lot. I actually did go to 1 year of film school in Chicago, and so I
Uh,
was always shooting and like creating little things, and like I created a lot of stuff that I really liked, but never like put out, but just by myself. It
yeah,
wasn't, I wouldn't say it's like I wasn't in it or anything like that. It was all like of external stuff. When I went to LA, I started to, just be like, okay, I'll just like direct this or whatever.
yeah,
I found, yeah, it was very difficult for me to communicate what I was trying to see, and it just didn't add up, and it kind of pissed me off. And so I was like, why am I like, no, no, no.
yeah.
But
That's where
then it was
I'm
weird
from.
because I couldn't figure out how to say what I wanted. It was so weird. And like, even if I was behind the camera and trying to tell the camera guy how to do it, I was like, I had to take the camera and do it myself. Like, there
Yeah,
was no way I could. And so I just let people, there was times where I was directing, but I just let people pretty much shoot it, and I'm not mad at it, but it wasn't like what I envisioned.
right.
I think storyboarding, like professional storyboarding probably would be very helpful because like the most I've done is like I hand draw, like I draw stuff and
Yeah,
like put things in different ways in the frame, but like still when you get there on the day, it's like very difficult to. So maybe it's just the amount of prep you do and like being on site, taking actual frame photos and blah blah
right. Yeah, that's definitely adds to it. Like, and just experience. That's like people, I think that's why people quit doing things because like the process of like getting through the nitty-gritty of it is like really challenging. And it pisses you off sometimes. It does, and it's disappointing a lot and sad. There's a lot of those moments, I think. Gotta power through though. Your why's
blah.
gotta be stronger.
Yeah. When you say your why's got to be stronger, is there something you have in your mind that's like, this is the, like, kind of like group of people or target audience or something like that that I'm doing this for?
It's for the weirdos. No, I'm kidding. I'm a
Okay. Yeah.
weirdo. I'm a weirdo. It's like, have you seen the Cole Sprouse thing?
No.
Oh, he's like,
Oh
I'm
my
a
God.
weirdo. I never thought I could do any of this stuff, like, ever. And but it would have been cool to see someone like me doing the stuff that I wanted to do. So this is for people who don't believe that they can do it. I'm the proof that they can. Because, yeah. I couldn't even order food when I was like a teenager. Like that's how social like my social anxiety was like insane. Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing it for your 17, 15, 14-year-old
Yeah.
self.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
doing it for that little girl who never thought she would go anywhere or do anything or be able to be in public without freaking
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And that's really why you're doing it.
Yeah, like oh my God.
You're taking
The
that one.
calling is crazy because the obstacles in the path are the path.
Oh yeah, the obstacle is the way.
The obstacles are the way.
Have you read
Like,
that book?
no, I haven't.
That is a great book.
I should read it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you later.
All of these things I've had to overcome have been like the path through like social anxiety, perfectionism. Like they're like directly related to like making my art.
How did you figure that out?
By I think experience. I don't know. These aren't very good answers. Are they? I don't know.
No, I mean, it's just a question. It doesn't need to be a good or I don't, I try not to judge anything positively or
Okay.
negatively at this point. That's part of
Yeah.
what we practice in dialogue is like no judgment. It's just everything just is.
Right.
I don't think I ever realized that concept until reading that book, which is why I asked you about that book, because that's what really solidified in my mind. Now, every time I have a challenge, I only look straight
Right.
into it. I don't look anywhere else because it's a waste of time at this point. But I think before, I just kind of I would just switch to something else, because I feel like I can pretty much jump into like anything and be proficient at it.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm one of those people who's kind of like jack of all trades, kind of, or like Swiss Army knife more.
Yeah. That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, it's cool, but it's annoying because it prevents me from like I just again, instead of facing the obstacle, I'm just I'll just go teach yoga. I'll just do this. Now I'll just do that. I'll just work at this clothing store. Like I'll just
Right.
I can just like do anything because I don't want to face the challenges ultimately what it comes down to. So I think reading that book and realizing that philosophy was a big turning point for me being like, "Oh shoot, no, just because it's hard, just because I'm not getting like paid to do this, just because I'm not getting recognition, just because I don't have a following, just because all of
Right.
it doesn't mean you can't it's not for you necessarily.
Right.
It just
Right.
means you
Right.
have to like become that version of yourself tomorrow every day, you know?
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
what I say now is I'm talking to myself yesterday every day. Things that I create or whatever I post now is more just like, what did I need to hear yesterday?
Do you ever feel like you meet your past self in other people?
Yes, definitely. And I think that's what we're actually here to do too, is like, and it's unfortunate because right now we're in this like culture of like cutoff culture, and we're in this like, what is it like? If they're taking your energy, get away from them.
Yeah, like
Or like if they're lower than you,
mhm.
if like they're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
on
yeah.
your level, like get away from them. And like that, if they're if they're abusive or if it's just
Right.
pulling you down and stuff, absolutely. But I think there's an in-between point, at least when you get to a certain level of self-awareness. I
Mhm.
think that's when you are able to help those people because they come to you because you know what they've been through, and that's part of your purpose is to actually help them through it
Yes.
without, getting enmeshed or attached and all that stuff. So if you can
Right.
help from a place of just true compassion and empathy, which again, I hate to keep going back to this, but I used to, because I do feel called to help people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of those people who's like, oh my gosh, your problem is my problem, right? And oof, that got me into bad time.
Yeah.
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 So I think,
Boundaries are important.
yeah, no, and I didn't even know what that was. I was just like, what a boundary? There's nothing.
Same for real, same.
And
Yeah.
so learning about it has been great, but I do feel now I'm in a better position because now that I have this skill, this dialogue, I can simply just, if somebody calls me and they're, in that, they're the same, or they're me 5 years ago or whatever it was, I can simply just mirror them. And that's all I have to do now. And it doesn't take anything away from me. It
Yeah.
just simply like, this is,
Like
I'll repeat
like
your
kind of like a
experience back to
suggestion.
you, and then
Mhm.
you come to your own conclusion or not, but I'm not gonna sit there and try to think of a solution for you. I'm not gonna be like, "Oh my god, let's do this," or like, "Oh, that sucks." I'm just gonna mirror what you say, and that has given me a lot of power, personal power, and also just feeling like it's just better to operate like that because you don't give too much of yourself, and the person doesn't, like, everyone's on their own journey. So like what I have to say to you, like, you're probably not gonna do it anyway. Like,
Right.
how often do you actually take someone's advice? How often? Tell me.
Only if they're, have done something similar to me or I wanna be in their position.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
The inner guidance, self-reliance
Yeah.
that intuition is what I've been following. Because once you, like, say what you wanna do, like, you'll get all these, like, outside opinions,
Oh
but
my
they're
god.
like, it's like, we're on different paths, like, I don't know, like, I don't know what you've done, but, like, I know I need to do this.
Do you have any practices you use to strengthen those things?
I think positive affirmations and meditation and journaling.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you one of those people who, do you say your positive affirmations out loud, or do you just write them down or say them in your head?
Um, I try to say them because I feel like words are powerful and, like, are we, like, interpret them and, like, kind of, what is it? Subconsciously run them in our heads.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard this thing, well, I think it's like a neuroscience principle. It's like the principle of auto-suggestion is sound. And so it's good that you say it out loud, because I guess when your, like, brain hears it, it actually runs the program and, like,
Mhm.
to reprogram it through sound. I did always do, I've tried everything. I've tried everything. I did journaling, meditation, affirmations, breath work, yoga, prayer even,
Mhm.
everything.
That's good too.
Yeah, prayer is definitely good, and meditation, right? Like, you send out or you receive answers. But I do think none of that matters unless you act on it. And so lately I've just been like, I mean, just realizing that all of that, the intuition and self-reliance gets stronger when you actually act on it.
Oh,
And yeah, and
yeah.
so
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you said
yeah, so for me it's a little bit less about, and maybe it's just because I've had so much like crappy years of doing all the other stuff, that now, like, even at the beginning of this year, I was journaling, and like at some point I just like stopped because I was like, I'm like just writing this stuff down and I'm like not really taking action. I just was like, I just stopped, and
right.
then I realized, and then the next thing that came to me was honestly starting this podcast, and it came when I
Ooh.
was walking to the gym. And because that's, for me, walking is when like everything
Oh, yeah.
comes through, or the shower, like
It's
being in
yo,
water.
yeah, mhm.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So um so I took action on that back in December,
Mhm.
and I periodically in my life feel like I reach plateaus and I kind of get stuck for a little while. This was at one of those times where I was like, ugh, I don't know which way to go. Yeah. And
That's, like, continue like, it's just, like, you get to a thing and you're like, "Oh,
that
okay, now."
was cool. Now what? Yeah. Happens a lot.
Yeah, the whole time, I think.
Yes. Yeah, so I was there, and
Mhm.
then I got, like, another idea, and then I got another idea, and because I acted on each one of them, they just kept coming. And so, yeah, I think that's the key, and that's what I've
Yeah.
discovered is the key is, like, being grateful for the downloads you receive, and in some way or another acting on it, whether that's
Yes.
literally sharing it with another person verbally, because again, yeah, words. And for me, okay, so I uncovered, I never shared anything. Like, if I had an idea, I would not share it. I would not talk about it, because my mom was kind of like superstitious, and she'd be like, "Don't tell anyone or else it won't come true, or like you won't do it and stuff." And so, obviously, I have that running in my head. So,
Right.
every time I would tell someone, I would purposely not do it
Like
because
a
I told the
self-fulfilling
person because to
prophecy.
confirm the negative belief, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, once I uncovered that, I had to, I'm still kinda in that battle, like, I still don't like to tell people early because I think,
Right.
again, like, they can influence, or just make you feel bad about it, but now that kinda gives me, like, power, like, I'm like,
Right.
"Okay, you feel bad, that's even more of a reason for me to prove you wrong," like,
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think it's really just, being obedient to what you're being told to do and acting on it, and that's when you receive more,
Mm.
and that strengthens that.
Yeah, that definitely, like, helps your confidence levels too, like,
Yes.
that's how you
Ooh.
build confidence is, like, s I've been working a lot on integrity this year, is, like, if I say I'm gonna do something, I will do it,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, and I also appreciate I can actually tell that about you because, when was it, 2 weeks ago when we were supposed to do this podcast or something like that?
Yeah,
And it was, like, the night before, and I don't think I had, like, heard from you, or maybe it was the day of, I don't remember.
yeah,
But anyway, I was like I was kinda feeling like, "Dang, I think she's gonna bail on me," and then you messaged me and told me, "Hey, can we push this out 2 weeks?" But the fact that you messaged me and did not bail,
yeah,
I was like, "Dude, this is a person who's" which I know you to be because I read your threads, like, it's very clear to tell. But it's so much different to be the person who's like, "We need to push this out 2 weeks," which is totally fine, or the person that just doesn't say anything, and then,
just
like,
ghost.
2 weeks later, be's like, "Are you still doing that?" Or whatever,
Yeah.
yeah, just completely ghost or whatever. It's
Yeah,
just like, that makes all the difference in the
it
world,
does.
and I think that is what really starts to like, taking accountability for
Mhm.
your needs really is what it is. Like,
Right.
it begins to help you as a person change, and then your life starts to change, so
Yes. Yeah, and I vote, like, I haven't always been integrous?
yeah, I
Is
get that.
that a word?
Mm,
Um,
let's make it one because that's a cool word.
I haven't always kept my word, and, like, that's something that this year I really wanted to work on.
What made you want to work on it all of a sudden? Like, what made you realize?
Um, I actually watched this video, I think it's her name's Caroline Myers,
Mhm,
and she talks a lot about, like, integrity and, like, how it connects to just, your life and your relationships and your connection with even, like, an higher power too. Same thing with, like, being obedient to those ideas that you get.
mhm.
Yeah.
Carolyn Myers.
Mhm.
Nice. So you watched her YouTube video? I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to link that down below.
Yeah, 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 link it.
I used to be too, like, really I used to be flaky. I used to be like,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
would not tell you and I would not care. And, like, finally, my such good friend, at least I
Mhm.
thought I was her good friend, but I was treating her not good, right? And so I didn't even realize it at the time, but finally she said to me, her name's Elena Franklin, she said, "If you don't wanna come over tonight, you don't have to. You can just simply text me and tell me you don't want to, and
Yes.
I'm gonna be fine with that."
Yes.
And I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, nobody had ever said it to me before.
Wait, I
It
can just say no?
Yeah,
What?
like, I literally it changed my entire life. I was like, "I can what? You are not gonna be offended if I say no to you? And just
Yeah.
not even give you a reason other than I don't wanna come? Like, not even make something up? Like,
No,
'cause I'm"
and I hate when people do that too, it's like they add, like, this other extra excuse, it's like,
No.
I know that's not true, like, just say no. I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Dude, okay, so what do you think is like? Because okay, so since I heard that, I feel like it was a little bit of a journey to get to the point where I can fully just say no, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was probably like it was a long journey still. Why are we not able to say no? That like it shouldn't be that hard,
I
right?
think it's a people pleaser, like,
Oh,
trauma response.
oh yeah, that's true. So
You
not
think
everyone is this way.
I don't yeah, I think, like, if
Damn.
you're punished younger for, like or, like, when you're young for, speaking your needs or saying no or boundaries or not even having boundaries, not even being taught what boundaries are, like, I think you're more likely to be a people pleaser.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
What do you think?
And maybe it's just like people I've known in my life, but I feel like it's been like a universal experience. And so I'm like, is it just, but it is because we literally all like have the same problems.
Yeah.
And so
Or
it
yeah.
like, and like most people have a lot of the same problems, you know, whether it's like super traumatic or just a little traumatic, it still comes out. And then I guess it's just like
Mhm.
how much awareness you can have over it and how quickly. And that's sometimes I think like one thing I'm kind of hard on myself in that way because I'm like, come on, like, what are you still like, dude, come on. You're 29 years old. Like, what are you still doing this or thinking this or,
Yep.
you know, for?
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't make any sense. And then, but then I realized, like, oh, the only way to actually get through that is to have compassion for that part of yourself, that version of
Mhm.
you. And that's when you actually can start to change it. But if you sit there and you're like, what the fuck,
You're,
dude?
like, being mean to
It
yourself.
makes it worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes the
So
thought more prominent, I think.
yeah, true.
Unless you just like or just like invite your thought in and let it sit there, give it some tea, you
Yeah.
know, like it's okay.
Examine
It's okay. Yeah, examine it, observe it,
and challenge it too.
and challenge it.
But it might actually be true sometimes. But sometimes a lot of
You
times
might need to
it's not.
change it. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of times it's not. Might need to add some sugar to it or something sweet.
Yeah. Like even though my event was successful, I was like thinking like, oh, I could have done this better and this better and this better and this better and this better. It's like, yeah, you could have done a lot, but like it was a success, Zoe. Like, come on.
Yeah. And I mean, those things are, yes, that's like, okay, it's a success. Let's celebrate, right?
Yeah.
But also, if you're in that mode, I also feel like it's kind of good to just journal, you know, take notes
Yeah.
on actually what you thought you could do better. So you
Right.
have that for next time, and
Mhm.
then you can put that away, and then you
Yeah.
can celebrate
Right.
and be like, okay, despite all that, and yeah, I got it logged for next time. So it's, you know, all that thought was helpful. Thank you, thought. And now it's like, okay, now let's just be like grateful we accomplished that because
Right.
that was
Right.
crazy. Yeah, it was a big turnout too, at least from what I saw. And where did you hold that?
So I actually, when I came back to Utah, I went to this networking event and it was at that 43 Studios. And I met the studio owner and we connected on Instagram. And it was cool to see like how much I've grown in like, I think that was August to like now.
Wow.
And like I had my own event at that same studio. It was like kind of like a full little, it was a little circle, but still a full circle moment. Like, hee
Yeah.
hee.
Oh, because was this the studio the first studio you went to when you got
Yeah,
back?
it was a networking event when I first came back to Utah.
Okay, so this is the same one that you now
Yeah,
had your
same
event at.
studio.
No way, dude.
Yeah, it
That
was
is
so
so
beautiful.
cool. You completed the mission.
I did. Cause like I filmed this like little short film I never released before I moved. It was like me talking about how I was excited to come back to Utah and it felt like it was like a test to see like are you gonna do something different this time? And I feel
Yeah.
like I did. I feel like
Yeah,
I did do something different, and I'm happy with that.
you should be because you overcame your social anxiety. You literally started a film club. You're the founder of it.
Yeah.
And despite all the challenges and learning experiences you had in LA, you were able to bring those back. And
Mhm.
I think you even said this on Threads, dude. How do I remember all your threads? Same city, different. It's like I left LA and then I came back, but I'm in the same city, but I'm a different person. Something
Yeah.
along those
Yeah,
lines.
like a different mindset. It's really a mindset change,
Well,
and
and
you
you've
can get to that mindset change in different ways, like books, experience, people, like whatever, but there's different paths, but yeah.
now that you're back home-ish, are you
Mhm.
close to your parents? Or what is your parents' relationship now? Are you
Yeah, they're
close
still
with them or
together.
not?
the thing about it is like you can rationalize their actions and empathize and understand. Still doesn't make it right, but I can still have compassion and I still have a relationship with them. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. So now you have that mindset shift and you're able to, have more perspective over your relationship
Yeah,
with your parents too.
right. They're trying like all I know is like people are most likely trying their best.
Yeah.
Whatever their best could be different from others, but yeah,
Yeah.
we're
That's
just
exact-
trying our best.
Are they still deeply into the Mormon church?
No. No, we all left when I was
You
like
all left,
8.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Thank God.
Wait, why did you all leave?
Um, my mom found the internet.
Oh,
She Googled stuff and was like, "Oh, this is a cult, I think."
no way.
So, yeah.
That's interesting. Huh.
So she has that's good. Mhm.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Found the internet and found Mormonism was a cult.
Are your parents in the same religion, Greek orthodox?
Um, well, ugh. I mean, first things first, I had best friends who were Mormon. This is actually
Oh
pretty
yeah.
before I play another movie. I
Okay.
actually had neighbors and best friends growing up who were Mormon, and they were like, I have two sisters, one's older, one's younger, so I'm the middle child, and they had the same, it was like same ages and stuff. So we'd all like get on the bus and go to school together, come home, we'd
Aw.
play together and all that. But like my mom started to be friends with their mom and then started to like she read the Book of Mormon and like went to church with them a few times and like cuz my parents like well my mom at least would explore different things. And then my parents found out that in the Mormon religion you weren't allowed to have television or cell phones or you're
Yeah.
only allowed to watch like PG movies or
Yep.
something like
Yeah.
so they proceeded to raise us like that. And so
Got the experience.
I got the Mormon experience, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't have I mean we did have like channels 1 through 5. We had a television, but we were only allowed to watch Disney movies.
Mhm.
And I didn't watch my first like good film until I was 18 years old. So I think that's why I really like fell in love because I couldn't even comprehend because I'm so removed from everything. I couldn't even comprehend how movies were made. Like I thought it was like a real life situation,
Oh
and
yeah.
like I just couldn't figure it out until one day I think it was high, and I was staring like I was in the theater and I was staring at a The Imitation Game, which isn't even like the best movie in the world, but it's like a big picture and it's like
Yeah.
interesting and cool. Finally, at the end of the movie, and I've seen credits before, I'm no idiot, but maybe it was the weed, I don't know. But I I watched the credits and I'm like, "Oh, that's how it's
Oh
made."
my
I was like, it's thousands of people on the same page working towards one goal and all different like I put it all together in my head and I was like, "Oh my God, I have to do this." Like it was so I was like, "What? How did I just realize that?" But also glad I realized that.
that's kind of weird. When I was a kid, like I would see like the credits roll and I'd always like visualize my name in
Nice.
there. Like really early young, like really early on.
Interesting.
So weird. I
I don't
wonder
know
what
if
that
I did
means.
that. Did you
Hmm.
think getting out of Salt Lake was very I mean, you went to LA, so that's a big city. Do you think it was like do you think everyone should do that?
Yes, I think so. Because it gives you a new perspective. Even if you do come back like how I came back, it gave me a new perspective on it.
Yeah.
I think it's important too, especially if like you're in a place with not a lot of diversity. It's good to get out of your little bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I moved to San Diego first and then moved to LA. So I had a little it was like a going to like a medium-sized pool and then a bigger pond was like a better transition.
Yeah, that's true. I went to Chicago first for like
Yeah.
2 years.
I was talking to someone about imposter syndrome last night, And I'm like,
That's a
I
good
don't know.
one.
What do you think about imposter syndrome?
I think it stops everyone in their tracks right before they're about to have a breakthrough.
Mm. Oh yeah.
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 I think when you have imposter syndrome, that's exactly when you need to like keep going, and
Right.
most people don't.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I've definitely been guilty of that before.
I don't
How
think I've
about
had
you?
imposter syndrome too much. Because I'm like, I already know most people don't really know what they're doing. They're just kind of doing it and learning throughout the process.
Yeah. That's a really good place to be or to get to. Like
Yeah.
now I feel now I see that. Like I see it with even the top of the top people because I've
Hmm.
now had the opportunity to work with like higher up people. So now that I
Yeah.
see other people have no freaking clue what they're doing. Like I got advice from a writer one time and he
Hmm.
was like a good writer, and he was like I was like, how do you like start writing a script? Like it's like at least 90 pages. Like how can you even start that? And he's just like, well, sometimes I write page numbers 1 to 120 on 120 pages, and then I just start writing. I was like, what the fuck? He literally said, sometimes I open a picture book and I look at the words in the picture book and see if it inspires. Like, like it's like,
Yeah.
he doesn't know. Like, people don't know. So
Yeah.
I
People
think
don't know.
that
We're just, yeah.
the
We're
letting go
yeah.
of the it has to be this, or it has to be good, or it has to be done by this time, or all that stuff is what really just allows you to do something
Yes.
when you
Detach
let
from the outcome. Like, don't have any expectations for what it's going to be.
yes,
Detach from the outcome. Let go.
let go. Yeah, let go. Aw.
Let go.
Okay, should we watch one more? Now this one is interesting. Can you kind of tee this up for me?
I've been really inspired by the book and movie 1984,
Oh, nice. Okay.
and that's basically about over surveillance and the erasure. Can't I can't
Yeah.
talk. Like
Erasing
history
history,
being erased.
which is literally now happening.
Yeah, it's happening now. Like most of our modern history is basically online. And so it'd be really easy for someone to come in and just erase that and like put something new in. It's kind of like sci-fi mixed with real history. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a mixture.
You should check it out.
Yeah.
I love this quote, by the way.
It's at the beginning of the movie 1984.
Ah, interesting.
Mm.
Kumbu-kumbu sinanong-ona, lakinini, wangapi, wanasikya. Miaka mitatu imepita. Mbingu zilififia, giza likashuka. Hakuna aliyetambua mwanzo wake.
Have you read?
I just been started while Julia's out getting the coffee. There are 5 big neighborhood markets in a couple of blocks of our house.
I think we want to. Oh shit. Let's see, goes there. Oops, man. It's morning again in America.
Mwisho walifuta watu wetu hadi hakuna aliyebaki kuzungumza. Walifuta historia yetu. Anaogopa yale yasiyoweza kufutwa. Uhuru unashikilia kumbukumbu. Ninakumbuka.
Dang.
Dang. What do you think? What do you think?
Came out of the void. I feel like I just. Okay, deep breath. Wow. Okay, so I love the beginning when it says there are voices in the wind, but no one is listening, or no
Or
one can hear
who
them.
can still hear them?
Who can still hear them?
Yeah.
That's a great opening.
Mm-hmm.
Then the
Thank you.
last part, which I've never heard this before, actually, that remembering your history, no, memory.
Freedom is it freedom
Memory is the
is
key to
holding
freedom.
on to memory.
Freedom is holding
Holding on to memory.
because I always think about holding on to memories in a negative sense.
Mm.
So
I know,
when
actually when I first wrote it, I didn't think about that, but then after I thought about that. Was like holding on
when
to your like past trauma and memory can be negative.
right, but when I saw this, it literally like changed my perspective
Wow.
of like, oh, it doesn't have to be negative. Actually, you're right. Memory is the only thing that has us know who we are. And that's important because history is important because it repeats itself. And when it starts repeating itself, but we don't know it because we don't know our history, is when we're brainwashed. And
Exactly.
and so that just tells you like storytelling is now the most important thing we can do. Well, some of us.
Yes.
A lot of us are already gone, but some of us are still here. And
Yep.
that is very interesting. So yeah, I mean I just loved the visuals of it. I think the sound design was amazing.
Thank you.
And the fire part was so cool. The wind was really nice too. The screen, I mean, that's all you really need to see was the melting into the screen because
Yo, yeah.
dude, that should be like everywhere. I don't know. I really love this film.
Thank you. Dude,
Because
somebody so I made this for my own contest, but like I didn't want to win anything. But somebody came up to me and was like, "Can I have your autograph?"
for real. Well, and it's cool that it's inspired by 1984 because I didn't think about that. But
Yeah.
it's like a really well known. And also, I didn't know 1984 was a movie.
Yeah, it is. There's a movie. I think I read somewhere that George Orwell made that, or he wrote that because he was seeing that, I forgot what country he's from, but like whatever country he was from, they would report on wars that weren't happening, and then they would also not report wars that were happening.
Yeah.
So I think he like wrote that was inspired by
He figured it out early.
Yeah, you can manipulate the masses pretty easily if you have enough power.
Well, yeah, if you have media, that's the only
Yeah.
thing. But now there's so many different channels and avenues to get news from and information from. So, like, and everyone is selectively putting it out, right? Because everyone has their own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you feel about like we only get served what we're already looking at, so we're only seeing what's actually we want to see, kind of thing? Like, how do you feel about that whole concept?
It's pretty dangerous, I think. Like getting like your algorithm is like curated to their already strong beliefs because they want to keep you on the apps. They want to keep you scrolling, so they show you things that you want to see or things that make you angry. I think it's dangerous to society. I don't know.
I see what you're saying because it's like it is a polarization tool. It's
Yeah.
basically them saying like we're gonna keep solidifying your beliefs. We're gonna feed you what
Mhm.
you want, but we're gonna keep solidifying your little circle. So you're only in your circle.
Yes.
So anything out of your circle is wrong. And now
Yes.
you're fighting.
And we can't have like conversations about it. Like cuz people get so both sides of whatever side, I don't know, get like angry because they're seeing like the worst parts of the other side and then they're seeing the best parts of their side and yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What
But
do
we
you
got.
think about
That's why
that?
we gotta teach 300 people with 1 million followers how to mirror, and then spread that all over the
Yes.
internet. So we
Let's
could
have some
simply just like,
conversations.
did I get that? Is there more? And not even get mad.
Yeah.
You know, again, because I didn't really grow up on social media or anything like
Mm.
that, or super attached to the media. Like, it's
Yeah.
weird because like both my sisters are super into like celebrity culture.
Oh,
Like, they're like
really?
they watch stuff. Like, yeah, but 9 times out of 10, if you don't, luckily like people tell me what's going on, but I wouldn't know because I don't look anything up. And like, um, I honestly feel like that has kept me like sane. I felt really like I started to feel really detached for like the past couple years. I was like, dude, I am screwed. Like I've been doing this for so long. I don't know what's going on in the world. So yeah, I feel like I'm already a little detached from it. Here's the thing. I got on This is the first time I've ever been on like multiple apps, right? I actually got onto Threads on
Yeah.
purpose. I haven't really been on Instagram yet again.
Mhm.
But I got onto TikTok on purpose. I think that's it. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I realized how addicting it is because I am an addict. Like I was addicted to alcohol. I had an eating disorder. I just have that brain that's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
this makes me feel kind of good, I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I did realize like if I wasn't self-aware, how messed up it would make me. Like seriously. And I think that is part of what happened to me when I was younger, when I did get on Instagram and I was, like, modeling back at the time,
Yeah.
like, it kinda made me I think it really fucked me up, actually. Um, so I got off it for
Yeah.
so long. Um, but now going back, I realize, like, how messed up you would be if you weren't self-aware, didn't have any level of consciousness over anything, hadn't dealt with your addiction, didn't even know you were addicted. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude,
Oh,
I can't even imagine because it's terrifying.
yeah.
Even for somebody like me who's done so much work on myself in that arena, it's like, but I still felt the pull at some point, which is why I was like, oh no, I gotta draw some boundaries here.
I don't know about you said something about like not looking up stuff. Being super informed isn't the best thing for your mental health. I don't know. I feel like having too much information is just like it's just an overload and I don't know if we were always meant to have this much information at all times. And like with just social media, like seeing so many people all the time, I don't know, it's like if that's the best thing for us as humans. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't also know, and I used to be really against it, but I heard this quote from somebody like 6 months ago or something that was like, technology is an extension of human nature
Mhm.
or of nature, I think. And I was like, whoa, because yeah.
It is.
And I
It
was
is. It
like,
just amplifies our nature.
who we already are, what we already are. Yeah, so I was
Mhm.
kind of like, holy shit. Because also evolution is obviously a thing. So like if the only problem is like if we can't consciously evolve fast enough to keep up with technology, which we can, like I think a lot of us can. I don't know if everyone can, but I think basically it's just a battle of your consciousness has to level up at the same rate technology levels up, or you're gonna be toast. Um, I
Yeah, this is
think
basically like a part of our like appendages. Like it's
no,
like
literally, like my thumbs literally hurt today from like trying to write so much on my phone. I'm serious. I was like, this is horrible.
becoming techno humans.
Yeah.
Like that's what's scary about technology. It's just the unknown of it. Like Neuralink, like
Oh yeah.
putting a chip in your brain or something.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be good for us here soon.
So,
We chose the wrong timeline. And that's what it all comes down to, I think, is like teaming up with people, real people, whether you meet online or not. Like
yeah.
online is actually cool. I feel like I've met a lot of
Yeah.
people online.
Yeah.
But teaming up with people, pooling resources, because times are
Mhm.
about to get real hard,
Yeah.
and we better be growing our own food, because
Yeah.
I think that's gonna come next,
Yes.
is the poisoning.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah. Oh, it's already happening.
Yeah.
Like the food they make,
Well, I guess it's always been happening, but it's gonna be more faster now.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's that slow drip. That's 1984. That's like
Yeah.
this has been happening
Mhm.
forever.
Yep.
And now it's just now we have the media, so now we know it, which is why I don't hate it, right? I actually like it because we actually know. And if you don't know, that's on you at this point.
Yeah.
You know, like if you don't
Yeah.
and like but again, so many people don't. So many people are so gone. But it's cool because now we know who's gone and who's not too. Creativity is born from constraints.
Yes.
And like when shit hits the fan is when the people who are supposed to like rise up and lead and do things actually start, it's the Newton's second law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction kind of
Yes.
philosophy.
Yes.
So if you can keep your mind on the glass half full
Right.
side
Right.
while noticing all the glass half empty
Mhm.
stuff, that is just the best place to be, I think. Who are your top 3 favorite filmmakers that inspire you?
Ooh. David Lynch.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Sure. Oh, yeah, I love him. Rest in peace. Like his philosophy is pretty similar to mine about life.
Yeah.
I would
Have
say,
you
yeah.
have you ever tried his transcendental meditation?
Yes, I have.
Oh,
I think like there's a lot of truth to that. I love his idea of like ideas aren't yours. They're like kind of in this bigger consciousness pool of like they're like little fish in this like bigger sea of ideas, and you kind of just catch
yeah,
the ideas. I love
totally.
that, and I think like meditation helps that.
Yeah, that's
Helps you expand your awareness so you can catch ideas.
catch more ideas.
Yeah.
It's so true. Yeah, I think about like how many people catch the same ideas too,
Right.
and just don't do it. But then
Yeah,
like,
or they'll like have parallel thoughts and then make the same thing and then be like, "You copied me. No, you
right,
copied
there's
me."
always 2 people. You even see it in like big pictures. There's always 2 people making the same thing at once.
Yeah.
Or, way more, but It is crazy, like, but that's how I guess culture is shaped and like movements are shaped is just from like we're kind of having the same human experience in different ways.
Yeah. And it manifests differently. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go one last question.
Okay.
Since you've started your journey as a filmmaker and so many other things, how do you feel as a result of having accomplished all this stuff and connected with all these people and learned all these lessons? Like, what place are you in today?
I think I have a stronger sense of self.
The full circle moment happened, but you probably weren't even expecting it, really. But if you can let yourself celebrate for a minute and like be like, hell yeah, I did that, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh
What was
yeah, I
that
did
feel
that.
like?
It feels cool. It feels good, like, to see how far I've come from like my 14-year-old self. I remember I wanted to be a director, a filmmaker, but I was like, that's not possible. Like, I'm not outgoing. I can't talk to people. That's just like way out I don't even know how people make movies. I don't know how people make money doing that. Like, there's no way I can do that. I'll put that on the back burner. I can't do that. And then like everything that's like happened in my life has like led me to this moment. And it feels good. It feels good to be here, and I feel like it's like a launch pad to wherever I'm gonna go next. And yeah, I'm happy with everything that I've accomplished, with all of the like ups and downs. There has been a lot of downs, a lot of failures. But I'm excited to see where I go from here, I think.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of ups and downs, a lot of failures, but you
A lot of
kept
failures.
and you completed the mission.
I completed the mission.
I love that you said it's like a launch pad because it reminds me of earlier when we were talking about these plateaus, but now you feel it's a plateau, but it's a springboard
Yeah,
plateau. It's like, okay, I made it to some sort of, I
Yeah,
guess,
like
pinnacle. It's like the beginning and the end at the same time, you know? So cool. Well, I'm
breakthrough feels like it's coming, I feel like.
yeah,
I'm on
yeah.
the
On springboard. Okay.
springboard.
I'm so proud of you, and I do feel inspired by you. I'm really glad we got to meet and talk and
Yes,
chop it
me
up.
too.
And I do feel like you're inspiring me like every single day. But this conversation has been like really cool to get to know you more and share more about myself as well. And I really appreciate you for coming on the podcast and taking the time
Thanks
to
for
like
having me. This is my
to,
first
like
podcast, so
really. Oh my
if you can tell.
dude, it's launch pad time. It's launch
It's
pad time.
launch.
It is. And like, look, you were so vulnerable too. So like, you're ready.
Okay. I
You're ready.
know.
And your story, always remember, we talked about authenticity today. I'm not talking at you, I'm talking as you. But always remember, your story, and your story matters, and you matter. Who you are today matters, but your memory matters too. And the more you tell your story, the more people can connect with you as a person, and the easier it will be to have real connections and create more of what you want and less of what you don't want. You're on the path. And
On the
yeah,
path.
you're on the path.
Not bad.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Is There More, the podcast. My name is Megan, and I'm listening. This podcast is brought to you by Dialogue Life Skills, the world's scalable solution to the teen and young adult mental health crisis. Visit dialoguelifeskills.com for more information and follow Is There More World on all platforms. Thanks for listening.